Hello, and welcome my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This is Raven calling from Them for Tells to talk to you about your YouTube subscription plan and tell you that if you haven't already, you should subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and have a wonderful day. As is becoming tradition on this channel, in this video I'm going to do a bit of a director's commentary on the latest video essay, give a bit of background on my thinking behind it, and respond to some of the comments and constructive criticisms we received. Probably in the future these will become live streams when we have enough wonderful people to make that worthwhile, but for now we'll do it this way while we're still finding our feet. On that note though, if you do have any comments or suggestions for how we make content, then please do let us know, because we're definitely in that experimental stage right now where we're working out what works, what doesn't, and your feedback is vital for that discovery. So let's get on with the comments, and then I can give my thoughts on how I think the video went and what I learned from it. First up, we have a comment from Violara. A really fantastic adaptation of your book. It's even more poignant hearing it from your own lips. The questions and comparisons you raised really ring true and had me nodding along constantly. Plus, wonderful production value and performance. And yeah, thank you so much, Violara. As I mentioned in the video a couple of times, this video is actually an adaptation of a project I did for my photography course at university. I started it last summer holiday because I knew that one of the modules would be a final major project and I wanted to get a head start. I can't really remember where the idea came from at this point. I know I was looking at the Unicorn trophy head I bought for Alicia years ago, lovingly called Bo Jane, and I was wondering what I could do with it. And I'm not really sure how I got to the polyamorous bisexual trophy wife conclusion, but you know, that's how these things often go. The original idea was to do a typological study, basically where you photograph the same thing in different ways and you compare them against each other to see what those differences actually mean. And so I was gonna just take the same kind of photo where I would just be wearing different outfits to represent the natural variability and different expressions of the people behind the unicorn mask. I did these 4 to begin with, but in the end, and as time went on, it just kind of expanded from there. As once I had started to think about unicorns, I started seeing them everywhere. It became a printed book because of COVID, essentially. I didn't know how I was going to be able to display my work, and my tutor kind of pointed me in the direction of a photo essay. And then when we decided to start this channel, I thought it would be really easy to convert it ready for video. One thing to note though is I was actually majorly suffering from long COVID at the time I was writing it, and I was experiencing a lot of brain fog. So this video became sort of the expanded and enhanced version, as I was able to remember a lot of the stuff that I couldn't actually remember at the time. But you know, I got a 90% on the project, so I don't think it hurt it that much. Next up we have Sia Lezar, who wrote, "This is super incredible. I've always enjoyed your words and very much enjoy hearing your thoughts. The presentation is so well done. I really needed something thoughtful and full of sadhya today, and it really filled my cup. Thanks, Raven." No, thank you. I have to admit, I did have to look up sadhya. And for those who don't know, it basically means looking within oneself, or introspection. And I think that fits perfectly. Originally, when this was just going to be the photography, I was going to take a very postmodern approach and just kind of leave it up to interpretation. Maybe some hint towards the ideas and themes in the title. Part of turning it into a photo essay was my tutor pushing me to find what I was trying to say with it. Which I do now think is really important. It's about the world, so it should at least be somewhat relatable to everyone. Unicorns are this universal thing. Asia have their own version called the Kirin. But I think it does really add something to give my personal experience and viewpoint as a jumping off point for everyone else. Whether that's, am I being treated like a unicorn, or am I treating others like a unicorn? The project was always going to be a series of self-portraits, but that actually had more to do with being able to find models during COVID. And something one of my favorite photographers said about self-portraiture using masks is a really useful way to explore difficult ideas and topics without exploiting the people who are affected by those issues. And I can put myself into compromising or humiliating situations in a way that I would feel uncomfortable doing to others. But that also opened it up for a lot more personal expression, making it about my experience. It's like how The Matrix is this very aesthetically appealing, conceptual commentary on modern life in the 90s with very heady, thought-provoking themes. And then a bunch of misogynists and white supremacists co-opt those themes of the red pill to be about being awoken to the truth that women are basically objects for their use and consumption, until the Wachowskis have to come out and say, no, it's about being trans, the red pill is HRT. And I might have run the risk of my work being interpreted as trans people are in fact sexual objects to be exploited. And it's a shame that I have to clarify, but I do, so there we are. By the way, if you do want me to share my thoughts on The Matrix, let me know, because I have a lot of things to say about that. Joe writes, yes, the struggle as a trans person is too real. Yeah, not much more could be said other than solidarity, sibling. Official Jeff Bezos writes from space, this is amazing, like a mix of PhilosophyTube and ContraPoints, which I will put a pin in because yes, but also some constructive criticism we received went over this as well. So let's get to that and then we'll kind of discuss those points. So in one of the Discords I'm in, someone wrote, I felt it could have done with a couple of minutes of what is a unicorn, and then just go through the real world mythology of the unicorn. And I know we get that sprinkled throughout, but if the video started with that set of shared assumptions about what a unicorn is, then we can apply that to the more esoteric examples. I also felt some of the tangents were not fully tied into the main point. I got the point about the rhino statue, I think, but it was a big swing into your main point about commodification. Nitpicky point, but it feels very obvious who your stylistic influences are, ContraPoints and PhilosophyTube, and I'm sure it'll come with time that you'll find a distinct style. So on that last point then, yeah, it's definitely true. That is something we are explicitly going for as we learn the ropes of this new venture. Natalie and Abby are definitely the queens of bread/left tube and are responsible not only for shaping a lot of the ideas that Alicia and I have today, but building this kind of subgenre of video essay that includes, a very curated theatrical aesthetic. You can see their influence spread out throughout LeftTube, whether it's colored lights or the voiceover quotes or creating characters, even just flat out performance art. Visually, I would argue that as the set and costume design was a recreation of my photography, that those influences came from my influences as a photographer, not as a video creator. However, I will admit that as I'm very new to being an on-camera presence, or at the very least I haven't done it very often, even if I've appeared on our previous channels every now and then, I am 100% channeling the energy of, say, Abigail and Mia when I'm reading the script. I'm neurodivergent, so masking is something that comes very easy to me, and being on camera, I definitely put on a bread tube mask, and whether or not that's a good thing, I mean, it's definitely something useful for now. We took ages to create this channel because we wanted to hit the ground running, so to speak, to show to everyone that does find us that we mean business, and this is how we're gonna do it. But we're always learning and we're always trying to improve things, and with that, more of ourselves is gonna start feeding through. I know for some people, ContraPoints and PhilosophyTube can be a bit of or even a lot of a controversial issue. So if you're someone who maybe felt a bit put off by the connection, I just wanted to say, we do acknowledge what those concerns are, and we definitely have our own criticisms of both of them. But hopefully we can show in time that, we've not only learned from what they've done right, but what they've done wrong as well. The other point this person made was about clarifying what a unicorn is from the beginning, and actually, yeah, that's a very good point. Part of how we make these videos is I created an essay structure that the video should conform to, and this one didn't use that because it was using the photo essay structure that I used before in the book. And the point about the tangents as well, I think that's another symptom of it being a book. The structure The structure of the book is that you're meant to read the introduction to the topics, kind of what I was talking about, to give you the context, and then you study the images. And I relied a lot on the codification and signifiers being readable in the photographs. But when I turn it into a video, a lot of that gets lost because I'm reading over the top of the images and expecting people to both listen to what I'm saying and study the set piece to inform the ideas, and maybe that wasn't done as effectively as it could have been. That's something I'll definitely keep in mind in future if I do something similar and try to marry my photography work into this channel. Possum in the Contra Discord had a good point. Compared to your first one, this essay felt less facts heavy and more ideas heavy. I'll definitely have to rewatch it to get everything. The comparison of queer people and especially queer bodies to exotic animals really rang true though, and it made me see parallels between tourism, colonialism and fetishization chases that I hadn't thought of before. And yeah, that last point about queer bodies and exotic animal hunting, that's definitely a conclusion that I just couldn't help coming to from the research that I did. You know, I started with all this stuff about actual unicorns and how they've appeared in history, how they've appeared in the media and the representation of queer bodies with it. And then I go all the way back through time and I get to that rhino connection. And so I start tracing the rhino path forward and realize, hey, I recognize all of this because I've just walked back here. Especially the stuff about magical properties of the unicorn horn and the rhino horn, and you just keep running this parallel up to the modern day, and you can't ignore it anymore. And yes, I would say it is definitely ideas heavy because as far as I could tell, no one has made that connection before, or if they have, not in relation to unicorns. And if anyone has seen anything they could point me towards, then please do send it over because I'd love to read it. Now, this wasn't a direct comment on this video. There's more of a response to the confession video I made, where one of the patrons asked me to do a video on what my thoughts on Brexit are. And I knew that Brexit was going to be a theme in the unicorn, so I thought I would throw my thoughts in here, go into a bit more detail about it. And gloves off, Brexit is fucking stupid. Over the last few years, I've tried to be understanding and I tried to have a dialogue with people who voted leave, and I just can't anymore. The worst part of it was that the leave side of the media would put words in the remain side's mouth so that they could embolden and reinforce the feelings of the leavers and make them angrier. So often you would get into a conversation about it and the other person wouldn't be talking to me, they'd be talking to the Daily Mail's representation of me and ignoring what I was actually saying. It's just impossible to get through. I hate the EU, I hate how it is. I really dislike neoliberalism. I think the way that the EU handled the Syrian refugee crisis by outsourcing to Libyan human traffickers is fucking disgusting. I hate the way they promote a white supremacist liberal policy by giving the mostly white EU citizens freedom of movement, but then that's not extended to people outside of the member nations. The difference is that I never saw the EU as something completely separate to the UK. It's something that we were complicit in, we helped design it, we helped build it, so there's never a point that I thought things would be better off outside the EU. We always had the power to do better than the EU, and we often did. The EU just sets a baseline of universal standards on things like human rights and safety regulations. So the only thing you could possibly feel restrained by with the EU is if you wanted to do worse, if you wanted to go lower than that baseline standard. And the other thing as well is that there were just so many ways to leave the EU that it just became this empty vessel, and people poured in their hopes and dreams and needs and wants. And then you get statements like Brexit means Brexit, and that just reinforces it because people think, oh, well, my Brexit means Brexit. And what you end up is people on the left who have very similar criticisms to mine of the EU, aligning themselves with the right-wing side of Brexit. And it's just, like, I get it, I do. But if they really thought that the Conservative Party were going to deliver the Brexit that they wanted, then they're just lost causes. Like, we're getting this similar thing in Wales and Scotland with their independence movements. And there's this really strange rhetoric where you have a lot of trans people understandably wanting an independent Wales that's better for every Welsh citizen than what it's like to be as part of the UK. And then of course, right-wing Welsh nationalists who want a better Wales for white cishet Welsh people. And so when the trans Welsh indie movement say things like, what are they doing here? They literally want us dead. The indie organizations who were originally saying a better Wales for all are saying, shh, stop kicking up a fuss. Let's just team up with them for now. And then once we've got that done, we can sort all that mess out on who gets to live and who doesn't nonsense later. And it's just no. Like, you can't just align with fascists to help achieve your goal and expect to be able to achieve your goal in the way that you wanted to. And so similarly with Brexit, like all you had to do was look at who the players are, who are the people who are doing it, what have they said before, what are their intentions, and then you could decide whether or not it was going to be a terrible idea. And I looked at that and I decided, no, this is going to be a terrible idea. And everything that I predicted about Brexit has happened. There's this really odd situation for a while where I kept being gaslit by people, where I was like, okay, so these people who've said this are in this position of power and they want to do this, so this is what's going to happen. And everyone's just telling me, oh, they would never do that. Like, no, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't do that. And then they just did. And it's like, how many times can I be told that, oh no, I'm just scaremongering, and it keeps happening. And then you take on, say, where I actually think that the United Kingdom is heading right now, and it just gets harder and harder to deny that that is actually where it's going, and that's pretty terrifying. Right, thank you so much for watching. I hope that helps give a bit more context behind the Have You Seen This Unicorn video, and you understand where I was coming from a bit more. If you like what we do and would like to support us, then please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We also have a PayPal for one-off donations and a Patreon with 2 lovely patrons, so thanks so much to them. We also have a promotion running where you can get a limited first edition copy of the Have You Seen This Unicorn book for signing up. So thanks so much if you do. Don't forget to follow us on all the social media pages, links for everything down below, and we'll see you in the next one for Alicia's new confession video. Ooh. Bye. Really odd situation for a while where I kept being gaslit by people, where I was like, okay, so these people who've said this are in this position of power and they want to do this, so this is what's going to happen. And everyone's just telling me, oh, they would never do that. Like, no, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't do that. And then they just did. And it's like, how many times can I be told that, oh no, I'm just scaremongering, and it keeps happening. And then you take on, say, where I actually think that the United Kingdom is heading right now, and it just gets harder and harder to deny that that is actually where it's going, and that's pretty terrifying. Right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that helps give a bit more context behind the Have You Seen This Unicorn video, and you understand where I was coming from a bit more. If you like what we do and would like to support us, then please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We also have a PayPal for one-off donations and a Patreon with 2 lovely patrons, so thanks so much to them. We also have a promotion running where you can get a limited first edition copy of the Have You Seen This Unicorn book for signing up. So thanks so much if you do. Don't forget to follow us on all the social media pages, links for everything down below, and we'll see you in the next one for Alicia's new confession video. Ooh. Bye.